The Flynns can't stay away from the grid, and neither can its audience. So Disney returns to Tron once again, this time on Disney XD with the animated series Tron Uprising. Tron Uprising fills in the blanks between the first Tron and Tron Legacy. And today we're going to meet some of the cast and people behind the scenes of the show. How is it to make Tron, and then all these years later see it turn into this giant universe?
It's absolutely humbling, to tell you the truth, and I wanted to still remain a part of it if I could, physically could, and I was so happy that they asked me back into it. I mean, they could have gone on, like a lot of movies we're seeing now with these brands from another time. I see Total Recall. I don't see Arnold anywhere.
Well, in both Tron movies, you know, the protagonist is a human who's found himself trapped on the grid.
Yeah.
But now you're only dealing with computer programs.
That's right, yeah.
How does that change the storytelling?
I think quite a bit. I mean, I think that was sort of the point of the series. I think Eddie and Adam, when they were writing Legacy, they kept thinking about the grid and what would life be like to live on the grid as a program.
What happens on a Tuesday night when Clue isn't fighting
right?
Sam Flynn?
Yeah.
When he isn't annihilating the grid, and that kind of became the impetus of the show, where we started to want to tell a series about the specialness of the grid that Flynn keeps saying, which are the programs. And we wanted to tell an entirely different set of stories only through the eyes of the program.
With Tron, it's a world of computers.
Yes.
Did they give you a computer crash course before the show?
I need one. I need a computer crash course for anything. I mean, I'm so bad that I literally put in a DVD into my computer last night in bed to watch some of the later episodes because I've been traveling. Yeah. And it's a Blu-ray DVD, and it won't play in my computer. I'm like, why is it not working?
When the first Tron came out, computers were just first being introduced to people's lives.
Yeah.
But today, people practically live in the grid as it is.
Right.
Do you want to keep the show ahead of the curve, or do you think it's great that people have caught up? What's your goal?
Man, that's a tough question.
You know, it's not just in the hands of IBM or the government or something like that. It's now, you know, we've got it, and I've got it right here in my pocket. I've got this. You know?
That's right, you can go to the grid anytime.
I can go to the grid anytime, and all of us have that. We freed the grid for everyone.
The thing is, you know, like we're in the future like in relation to that movie, and we're doing things like we're communicating on these things like they had in those old Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know, and we're doing all these things, but we're still not dressing in weird outfits and stuff like that.
The old Jerry Seinfeld joke. One of the flying cars is going to show up, right?
Yeah,
I like that, right?
Exactly.
You're so well known for your on-screen persona. How is it doing voiceover work?
Voiceover work is great. It's a complete different animal. My biggest challenge with it is you really kind of feel left out in the dark sometimes because you're not given scripts, especially with video games, because there's so many different areas that depends on what the player could do.
They just give you bits, right?
They just give you bits.
How does it transform a physical performance to a voice performance?
Well, it's all acting, you know. I mean, it is. It's just you don't have the rest of your instrument to do it in, so you have to find. We worked on trying to find what has he been through since we saw him as a younger program in the first picture, and the flashback sequences from Legacy. You see them again, but where is he now? And so we know that he's damaged. He's been diminished by the fighting with Clue's forces. The reason he has to find a younger guy to carry this thing on. There's an urgency. He can still kick butt, but he's not going to be able to do it alone.
You have a very unique visual style for this show. It's very CGI, but it has a very I don't know if it's hand drawn, but it looks hand drawn for their faces.
Yeah.
Right. Why did you decide to do that kind of stark contrast?
You know, there's it was a process that sort of evolved. I mean, I think that it really comes down to, you know, my background is 2D, and as is Rob Valley, who's the character designer, and Alberto, the art director. And so we're all coming at it from a 2D perspective with a 2D aesthetic, and I really wanted that. There's something I think that is really that's strangely easier to relate to about drawings.
Yeah.
And I wanted that especially from the faces.
Eventually, the 2D dropped out completely, and then we have something with the 3D methodology that's made several steps in trying to achieve a 2D look.
Oh, well, I think it works. It looks very interesting. Where would you start from? Does someone need to start from Tron to go through all the way through?
Well, I think that what's great about Legacy and Tron and Uprising is that, you know, Tron obviously was the first one. You don't need to know anything but that.
Yeah.
But Legacy was written in a way, if you'd never seen that, you could still enjoy. And Uprising's no different. If you watch the pilot of Uprising, you don't need to have seen. You're totally caught up, and we will catch you up, and you don't have to worry that you've missed out. But if you are a super Tron fan like ourselves, you'll be rewarded.
Oh, good. Oh, excellent.